So Jimmy McGill is on the verge of becoming Saul Goodman in Season 5 of Better Call Saul. Obviously in the Season 4 finale, we saw the beginning of that transformation, and I think we're going to see that play out this season, and we're going to see a lot of the things established that we know about Saul Goodman, and also go beyond that. And in this video I'm going to talk about overall my predictions for the season, including the one I just mentioned, for other characters like Kim Wexler, for Nacho, for Mike, for Gus, for Hank. I'm going to go through all of these main characters and talk about where we could see them play out in this season of the show. But before I get into my predictions, if you do enjoy this video, remember to leave a like rating. Also subscribe if you want to see more Better Call Saul. I'm going to do a review of the show when it premieres on Sunday. I believe there's also an episode on Monday, so there's 2 episodes this week, so I will do reviews of each episode of the show, including a final review of the entire season once it wraps. So if you're into Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad and all shows that are similar, subscribe to the channel and I will be covering all of that. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Without further ado, let's get into my predictions for Better Call Saul Season 5. So starting off with Jimmy, I think we're going to see the establishment of his new identity. I think we're going to see him as the crooked lawyer we know and love. I think we're going to see his connections build in the criminal underworld, you know, for instance with characters like Huel, with QB even from Breaking Bad. I think they're going to play a role this season. They haven't really been mentioned. I know we've had Huel been mentioned, but QB is one that we haven't so far in the marketing for the show, and I think he'll be a surprise. I think the main thing we'll see established is his office from Breaking Bad, the one we know from the show. Even if it looks slightly different, I think we're going to get a look at that, the same strip mall one from Breaking Bad. I think we're going to see into the building of that and the kind of building of his establishment as that lawyer that we know from the start of Breaking Bad. So I think that's one of the main things we're going to see to start off with, the associations he has with characters that he builds a relationship with in the criminal underworld, and also the establishment of his own empire. I also think there will be a past association made between Jimmy and Nacho. I think they have focused a lot on Nacho as well as Jimmy in the previous seasons, and I think we're going to see these worlds start to collide. And I think the past association that Jimmy had with Nacho may be known to the cartel, and I think when they start to really get behind Nacho's betrayal of the family, I think that will start to become a part to play. I think you're going to see the connections between Nacho and Jimmy this season, and you're going to see kind of their storylines, or the 2 storylines that we've been building in the show, really collide. And that's where I think you're going to get the Gus and Mike really playing out in Jimmy's favour. I also think you're going to get Jimmy and Mike starting to cross over this season. Obviously I think Mike's going to be put under immense pressure with now being the trusted and I guess loyal person to Gus. He's going to start to kind of fight himself in a way, and we've seen that throughout the season as we've seen the ties to his family, and it's really shown what it's done to him, and it eventually puts him in that position we see in Breaking Bad with Walt, which ends up with his life being taken. I think we're going to see Mike really start to become more paranoid this season of what he's getting himself into, but I think he'll eventually become that professional killer that we do see in Breaking Bad. And I think this all comes down to Lalo, the new character that they're introducing, which was mentioned by Gus in Breaking Bad, who is now being set up to be the big threat of this season. And I think he's going to throw a lot of people under the bus this season, and whether that's deaths or whether that's people within his own family, maybe Nacho being one of them, I think it's really going to turn everything upside down this season, and it's really going to be the crucial thing that brings both of these worlds together this season that they've been setting up, and the world essentially becomes one criminal kind of storyline that the show has been alluding to the entire time. And I think as a character, Lalo, from what we've seen of him and also what we've heard about the character, he's very, cunning, but he's also reckless. He's someone who can really hit you when you're most vulnerable, and I think we're going to see that play out as the worlds collide this season. Moving on to another character, Kim Wexler, who is the big question mark surrounding this show. No one really knows how this is going to end. We know that she's not in Breaking Bad, but I don't think anyone believes that the writers are just going to simply kill her off. Even if they do kill her off, I think her death will have a huge weight on the storyline, and in particular Jimmy's. The connection in this show that I think people love is between Kim and Jimmy. My personal prediction is that we're not going to see the death of Kim. I think this season we're going to see her life destroyed, and I think destroyed by what Jimmy has gotten himself into and the people around him, and the main person that surrounds him is Kim, and I think we're going to see her life really turned upside down this season in a way that she may not be able to recover from. And I think in that sense, maybe not this season, but in the final season of Better Call Saul, which has been confirmed to take place after season 5, I think we're going to see her maybe leave Jimmy, and leave Jimmy in a way that really does leave him empty now, and the only thing that he can follow is his character that is Saul Goodman, because once he's lost Kim, I think he's lost everyone. He lost his brother, who even though he had a mixed relationship with, he still was a brother to him. And even though Jimmy comes out in the courtroom trial in season 4 and says all of that stuff just to get his lawyer license back, I think really at heart, and I think even Kim knows this at heart, he knows that Chuck was his brother, and he did love qualities about him, but he's also got that manipulative criminal lawyer side to him, which is really starting to be put into the spotlight this season. So I think personally we're going to see Kim leave Jimmy. I don't know if that's going to be this season. I think it will be more in season 6. I think more this season we're going to see her life turned upside down, and that she's going to lose everything, and whether that's her own lawyer license because of what she's helping Jimmy with, or something along the lines of that. I really do think Kim is going to be torn apart this season in a way that's not very in terms of violence or in terms of her own death. I just think more of the mentality of her character is going to be torn apart. The one character though that I am uncertain when it comes to going on beyond season 5 is Nacho, and I think Nacho has become a very important character in the show. He's very much a metaphorical character to that that side of the criminal underworld. I think Nacho is one that I don't think can survive more into season 5, but I do think his storyline and the way it ends up will tie in nicely to everything that's going on, and also set Jimmy on a path of, I guess, he cannot escape now. He's in this world and he's firmly placed his feet within it and he cannot escape it. And I think Nacho is going to be very much the driving force for that, and especially if they kill him off this season. Now obviously Nacho could survive and he could go into season 5 and be a big player come the end of the show, but I do think that there is something that is being hinted at, especially with now the family knowing his betrayal, and we're starting to see that this season. I think he's a character that very much isn't going to make it past the show of Better Call Saul. Obviously he isn't in Breaking Bad, so it would make sense that his death has a huge weight on things going forward. And I think whatever happens to Nacho, I think that will really inevitably drag Mike, Jimmy, Gus all into this storyline even more, or into this conflict even more. So that's my predictions for the main characters. Obviously when it comes to Hank, we haven't got too much detail on where his character's going, but I'm guessing he's going to be the role we expect him to be, the person who essentially investigates what's going on. I think we're going to start to see how he can't get his grip on what's going on and how these criminals are just a step ahead of him. I think that we're going to see that start this season, and eventually as we get into Breaking Bad, Hank becomes that character who, although he's very cocky, although he's always thinks there's something to a particular crime that's going on, I think we're going to see this season the beginning of what we started to see at the end of his character arc, and that's this person who can't get his grip over the criminal underworld that he thinks he's a step ahead of. So that's where I think Better Call Saul Season 5 is going for all the characters this season. Obviously it could go a completely different way to what I've just said. I think the writers do a great job, in particular Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. I think they do a great job of providing the unexpected with this show, and they did it with Breaking Bad and they've continued it into Better Call Saul, so I'm really looking forward to how they develop these characters. And I think we're in for a very shocking season regardless. I think there's going to be a lot of things I haven't mentioned that happen that I quite frankly can't predict. But let me know down below, what do you think is going to happen in Better Call Saul Season 5? Do you think some of my predictions are bang on, or do you think I'm wrong about a lot of stuff? Let me know down below and we'll talk and discuss what we think could happen come Season 5. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, again, remember to leave a like rating, subscribe for more Better Call Saul TV shows and movies that you all enjoy, and until the next video, make some noise.